7th and 8th channel of BYJU'S. I am your teacher Ankita and I welcome you in today's class. I hope that all of you are doing good and I hope that all of you are in very good energy, right? To study this really very important chapters of biology of class 8th. So everyone, are you ready? Please do give me a smiley in the chat box and do let me know that whether you can see me and can hear me clearly. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Rahul, Gungun, Akarsha, Priya, Asta, Harsimran, Rinku, Devyanshi, Anshika, Asvi, Gungun, Nidhi, Nandini, Rahul, Pratap, Bholu, Manjeet. Yes. We can have the chat over here. I can't see the chat. Yes. Gitika, Astha, Pratap, Sonakshi, Rishi, Devanshi, Lekha, Arav, Afra, Amber. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I will be calling out your name right as we move ahead in the class. And it's an amazing class, right? So we will be looking at the NCERT questions that we have in our textbook for all the chapters of biology for class 8. So I hope that all of you are ready. Hello, Bhakti, Sachin, Firdos, be positive, Bholu, study gear, Shrishti, Rinki, Amber, very good, very good. Pratap, Chitra, Lekha, Varsha, good evening. Mohor, Gauri. Okay, I'm ready. Thank you for asking, everyone. I'm good. I hope that all of you are good. Hi, Meghal. Okay. Okay, only 3 chapters are coming in your examination. Don't worry, we will be covering all 6. So you can pick. Yes, okay. So everyone, we have these 6 chapters. We have crop production and management, microorganism, friends and foe. We have cell structure and function. We have reproduction in the animals. We have reaching the age of adolescence and the conservation of plants and animals. So we will be looking at all of these chapters. Akshara or Akshara, I think. No, you're right on time. Yes, you're right on time. Yes, all chapters are easy. Whole science is really very easy. Awesome. Awesome, Gungun. Okay, so let's get started, everyone, without taking much of a time. The first chapter that we're discussing is a crop production. Yes, very good, very good. So we will be looking into all of these chapters, right? So I'm starting with crop production and management. Then, of course, yes, Ashwara ma'am will be joining us after we will be done with 3. After we're done with 3 chapters altogether. Yeah, she was there in the thumbnail. Absolutely correct.
She's here also.
Yeah, she's here also. So we have 6 chapters in total. So 3 we have divided each equally, and we'll be teaching you. Right, so everyone, let's get quickly started because I know that all of you are already the masters of these chapters. So I'm sure you'll be helping me. So here we have the question, everyone. Okay, match the item A and B. Oh yeah, yesterday we had this question. We had this same question in the Menti also. Yes, everyone. Yes, let's get started. And here we have the first question. We have to match A and B. Can you quickly match this, everyone? Yesterday we had this particular question in Menti also. Yes, so we have the Kharif crop, right? We have the Kharif crop. Yes, and we have to match it with definitely the examples. Rabi and other crops. So let's take a look over here, everyone. Yes, so Kharif crop will be matched with the E. Rabi crop with wheat, P and gram. Chemical fertilizers, urea, and organic manure over here. See, that's a correct answer, everyone. Yes, please do take a screenshot if you want to. This is a very easy question. So Kharif crops are those crops that are sown in basically. Okay, over here the answers are incorrectly marked. Right? Over here, this will go over here and over here. So Rabi crops are the one which is wheat, gram and pea. Right? And Kharif crops are the paddy and maize. So paddy and maize require more water. And we have chemical fertilizer which is urea and superphosphate. And the manure, the organic manure, animal excreta, cow dung, etc. Yes, you will be getting the PDF on the Telegram. Okay, here's a exchange over here, but we know what is the correct answer. Okay, next question everyone on your screen. I hope that your energy is high everyone. And if you're new here, please do make sure to hit that like button. And please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yes, right? Please make sure. Yes, marathon ki tarah fast chalenge, bilkul. We will be moving a little bit faster. Okay. Explain how fertilizers are different from the manure. It's a very common question asked in the examination, right? That what is the difference between these two? Now, of course, fertilizers are the chemical, man-made, right? They provide the specific amount of nutrient which plants require. We have the example like NPK, etc. Whereas the manure is the inorganic matter, right? Sorry, organic matter. They, of course, we can make the manure at our homes, and we get the manure after the decomposition process. Yes, manure is organic. By mistake, I said inorganic. It's organic. Very good. So here we have the difference, right? So manure is composed of the organic matter. We know this. They can be easily prepared in the field. They are relatively less in nutrient as compared to the fertilizers, and they provide humus to the field. Talk about the fertilizers. We know that fertilizers, right, are the inorganic substance. They are usually prepared in the factories. They are rich in the specific nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, right? And they do not provide humus to the field. If we compare the manure and the fertilizers, we know that fertilizers have a slight disadvantage, right? They have more of disadvantage as compared to the manure. More use of fertilizers can degrade the quality of the soil. Absolutely correct. Yes. So, Ranjit, can you move me on the other side because I'm kind of covering. There's an empty side over here, right? This side. Over here, the opposite side. You can move me till the end. Can you see the edge? Right. You can move me a little bit more towards the right, I guess. So, I'm moving aside, everyone. Please do take a screenshot. Yes, I hope that all of you have taken a screenshot. Yes, urea is a fertilizer, not urine. Absolutely correct. So yeah, something like this, Ranjit. You can move it. You can move me over here. Yes. So let's take a look at this is how we can write the answer in the examination, right? Easy peasy, everyone. 3 marks question or a 2 marks question. Very good, very good. Now, everyone, let's take a look at the next question. Question number 3 on your screen. Very good, very good. Ma'am, for the exam, do we have to learn human reproduction diagram? So, Nandini, yes, you have to pay attention to the diagrams because they are important. I'm sure in your school, the teacher must have told you whether the diagrams can come in the examination to draw. So, you can practice for those. Very good. Yes, okay. Now, describe 2 methods of irrigation which conserve water. So, I can see the answers, drip system and the sprinkler system. Very good. So these are the 2 important systems we have. They are the modern methods, right? They are not the traditional methods. They are the modern methods. And both of these methods actually help in the conservation of the water. First, what we have over here, we have the, yes, what we have over here, we have the drips, right? Drip system. So what happens in drip system, right? See over here, the pipe is connected to a water pump, right? To a motor, of course, which have a lot of water stored in a storage there in the tank, right? And it is connected. And of course, over here we can see each plant will be getting the water drop by drop. So this is important. Then we have the sprinkle system. See over here, we have the rotating nozzles and it will be giving the water in all the direction. So sprinkle system is usually used where we have the uneven land surface. Yesterday we had a question, right? You remember this, everyone? Yesterday we had a question. Not ignoring urea. Yes. Yes. So Bhakti, I think in the examination you're taking more, you're thinking too much, you're taking more stress. So try to breathe. Yes, try to breathe and you'll be fine. Breathe. Have a deep breathing, okay? Very good, everyone. Yes, Adiva, Bala, Ria, Palak, Devanshi. We don't have Menti today. Yes, Gungun, Rinki, Shrishti, Darakshana. Welcome to the class. We don't have Menti. Please don't ask again. We don't have Menti today. Chaliye. So everyone, this is how you can write the answer in the examination. You can mention about the sprinkle irrigation system. You can mention about all the important points. right? Then in this method, water is supplied due to pipes, drop by drop, right? Of course, nozzles is there. Of course, it will be rotating, not drop by drop, sorry. And this is usually used on the uneven surface. Whereas a drip irrigation is used to give the water to the plants drop by drop, and this is usually used where there is a less available water, right? Where we have a less amount of the water, we use the drip irrigation. So are we clear? Yes, awesome. Screenshot, right? I'm just moving aside. Everyone take a screenshot. Jaldi se take a screenshot. Awesome. Very good. I love the energy that you all have in class. I hope that all of you are paying attention. I hope that all of you have a pen and notebook to take the important points. Here we have the next part of the drip irrigation. Please do take a screenshot. Yes. Now let's move to the next one. Here we go, everyone, to the next question. Explain how soil gets affected by the continuous plantation of the crops in field. Easy peasy question, right? Think about it. We have to tell how the soil get affected when there's a continuous plantation of the same field again and again. Yes, very good. Be positive. Yes, they are the traditional method. Devanshi, we don't have Menti. We don't have Menti today, so please don't ask me. Yes, soil loss its nutrient. Absolutely correct. All the best, Riya, for your examination. Very good, everyone. So we know that, right, the soil will get depleted of the nutrient, right? If there's a continuous plantation, the same piece of land, we will see that the soil will lose its nutrient over the period of the time. See over here, we can see, right? See, the soil will not be able to provide the nutrient. So we know that the continuation plantation, right? The continuous plantation of on a same crop on a same piece of land will actually take away a lot of nutrient. Apart from that, the soil will lose its fertility and it will not have enough time to replenish its nutrient. Very good, everyone. Very good. So we'll see the loss of the fertility of the soil, and it will be affecting the crop yield. Very good. Very good. So it was an easy question, right? Yes. Cool, everyone. Let's take a look at the question number 5. What are weeds and how we can control them? It's such an easy question. Easy peasy question. Remember this, everyone? Weeds. What are weeds? Yes, we know. We have studied this, right? That weeds are the unwanted plants or undesirable plants that are present on the field, right? And these plants actually compete with the main plant for the food, water, nutrient, right? So we have to take them out. How we can control them? First, of course, by using the weedicides. Second method is by manually plucking them, right? Yes, very good. So here, this is how we can write our answer in the examination. So weeds are the undesirable plants growing along with the crops. We call them as weeds. They compete with the crops for light, space and nutrient, water, etc. How we can remove them? By using with the help of a khurpi, right? Second, by tilling the soil and uprooting the weed, right? By tilling the soil with the help of a khurpi and then removing the weed from its root itself. Very good. And then we have by using the weedicides like 2,4-D. Yes, very good. Uprooting means to remove the plant from the roots. Okay? That's good, Anushri. I hope that your exam was good. Please, Blessy, ask your question. Yes, Rishri. And Esther, hi. Hi, Adiba. Okay, everyone. See, Aishwarya ma'am will come in a minute. Yes, Aishwarya ma'am will also be joining us. Yes. Akshara ma'am will be joining us after we are done with the conservation of plants and animal. Okay? Yes. Please make sure, everyone, you're hitting the like button. We should have at least 30-50 likes. 40 likes, actually. We should have 40 likes, right? Yes.
We can aim for 60.
Okay, yeah. We can aim for 60. Or we'll start with 40 first. Yes, very good. See, your name is very typical, very Arnie Esther. Yes. Ajraj Gopal. Yes, Ayushi, like target should be 100, yeah. But I'm just keeping it 40, but yeah, very good. Giving me. Ma'am was also saying 60. Okay. Yeah, I shout out your name. I know, Gungun. Okay, chali everyone. Let's focus. Yes, Akshaya. Okay. I will tell you, Blessy. You're asking what is the difference between the plowing, right? The difference between the plowing. Wait. Not ignoring anyone, Priya. Pari is your nickname. Okay, I'll call you Pari. Okay, Madhura. Okay, the difference between plowing and tilling. Acha. It's a very interesting question, everyone. Plowing and tilling. So, what is plowing? Right? Yes. So, what is plowing? When we plow, right, with the help, we actually remove the soil. We remove the soil, right, and of course, with the help of a tool, and we call it as plowing. Now, tilling, of course, is very similar to that. Clear? Tilling and plowing of the soil. This comes together only. Just making sure we're just moving the soil in such a way that the air is moving inside, right? Yes. Hi, Tamanna. Yes, Devanshi, I'll explain you that question. Okay, chali everyone. Let's move ahead to the next question. But before that, this is how you can write the answer in the examination. Very good. So with this, everyone, we are done with the most important question from the crop production and management, right? Yes, and now we will be moving to the next question. So please do take a screenshot of this if you have any, you want to quickly take a screenshot. Yes. Done. Done, right? Very good. Yes, Shreya, what was your doubt? So we usually call it as same. Okay. Now let me explain you about the steps. Okay. The first step over here is the preparation of soil. Okay, the preparation of the soil. Then of course we have the plowing process. Okay, everyone. See, in your textbook, we are starting just with the preparation of soil, right? In your textbook, we just have the preparation of a soil. Inside that only, we are considering the plowing of the field also. Then, of course, we have the process of sowing. Then what we have? Then we have the manure adding, nutrient basically. Then we have irrigation. Then, of course, then we have, right, weed removal, weeding. Then we have the harvesting. And we have the storage. Yes, everyone? Clear? Yes, this is what we have. So, preparation of a soil and plowing of a soil comes together, right? Then we have sowing of the seeds, then adding the manure, the nutrient, right? Then we add the water, irrigation, then the weeds, harvesting, and the storage. Okay? It's okay. Welcome to the class. Don't worry. You can go back. You can go and watch it again. Yes. Now, in yesterday's question, the confusion was preparation of a soil. See, what we'll do first we'll make sure that the soil is clear. We will remove the unwanted plants if there are any. We will remove the rocks from the surface, right? We'll make the boundary. Once that is done, what we'll do, we'll start plowing and tilling. Basically, the same thing, right? Loosening the soil. Okay? Very good. So, this is important, everyone. Do remember the steps. Awesome. You all are my good bachas. Yes. Threshing and harvesting. So, harvesting is nothing but a process where once a crop are ready, the farmer will be cutting it down. That is called as the harvesting. Now, threshing and winnowing are the steps that are followed by the harvesting. Now, winnowing, as the word winnowing is there, right? We know that it has to do something with the wind. Before that comes the threshing. Everyone, can you tell me what is threshing? You remember something like doing like this? So, what happens as we cut the crop, right? before the grains that we'll be using, what we do, we'll be removing the shaft, the grain cover that we have by beating on a piece of a rock, right? Like this that we do. That is called as threshing. Then what we have the winnowing. And in winnowing, it is an old method where, of course, the person will be standing on a heighted surface, right? And will be holding a basket and it will be standing in the wind direction. And they will do like this, so that will be helping in them to remove the covering and the grains will fall. That is based on the principle of heavy and the lightness. Okay, I can see some doubts. What is hoe? Right, so H-O-E. So basically it's a tool, right? This is used in the plowing process. It will have a rod, right? And on the side, it will have this. Something, right? Something to move it ahead. Yes, right. We don't have Menti today. Then of course, the other one was, you were asking about the khurpi. So khurpi is a very small tool. It is used manually by a teacher. Manually by the farmers, right? And what they do, they will be holding the plants and will be removing it like this. Yes, Pushpa, are you talking about yourself? If you don't want to be in class, please, you can leave. You are trying to get my attention to something. Yes. See, I don't want to sound very rude to you, but if you don't want to stay in class, please, you can leave. We live in a country where we have the freedom, right? And nobody is asking you to stay in class. Absolutely correct. Very good. Please don't distract my class. Okay, everyone. So with this, with super, I think with a god speed, right? With a very high speed, we have completed one chapter. Yes, we completed one chapter. Now everyone, let's move to the next chapter, which is microorganism, friends and foe. Are we ready? Yes? Yes, we don't have Menti today. We'll be having Menti next week. Don't worry. See, we have done everything. Everything is there, right? Don't worry. Chaliye. Awesome. Badhiya, badhiya. Chaliye, everyone, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Hello, Divyanga. Divyangana. Yes, I've replied to you, bache. Awesome. Chaliye, everyone, next question. Your paper is tomorrow. All the best, Shashwat. Yes, I hope this session helps you. Isn't it mentioned? Ma'am, for class 7th or 6th ka Menti. Anushka, it will be happening on in the next week. It's not in the syllabus, it's okay. You can skip that part. We'll be quickly doing it because in the other students' in the syllabus, right, it might be there. Adiva, your SST paper is there tomorrow. All the best for that. Thank you, Ria, for letting me know that how many likes we have. Everyone, please make sure you hit the like button. Hi, Gauri. Okay. Everyone, let's take a look at the next chapter. I want all of you to pay attention over here because this is such an easy chapter, right? Microorganism. Again, match the following column A and column B. Column A में what we have? We have bacteria, rhizobium, lactobacillus, yeast, a protozoa and a virus. And in column B, we have nitrogen fixation, setting of curd, baking of bread, causing malaria, causing cholera, causing AIDS, and producing antibodies. So, please everyone quickly help me with this. Yes. Quickly everyone, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Akshara. Yes, all the best, Adiva. Yes, Rishri. Okay, everyone, quickly. So, we know that bacteria, how we can match the bacteria. Let's move over here. Yes. So, here we have bacteria, we have rhizome. So, let's start with the things that we already know. So, I feel that the easiest thing for me to start with is the lactobacillus, right? We know that it actually helps in the setting of the curd. Then, rhizobium, it actually helps in the nitrogen fixing. Then we have the virus, which causes the AIDS. Then we have a protozoa that causes the malaria. Then we have yeast, used in the baking of the bread. And we have the bacteria that actually causes the cholera. Easy, right? This is what we are looking for. Very good. Producing antibodies, we don't have it over here. Yes, so here we have everyone. The final answer. Yes, now can you quickly tell me? So bacteria causes various diseases in the individual, right? We know that there are some useful bacteria and there are some harmful bacteria also. So there are various harmful bacteria that actually causes various diseases. Cholera is one of them. We have TB, right? Typhoid. All of these diseases are caused by the bacteria. Yes? Good, very good. Then rhizobium, it actually help in the fixation of the nitrogen, right? We know that it is present in the root nodules of the leguminous plants. Very good. Then lactobacillus is easy, setting of the curd. Yeast plays a very important role in making the bread. A protozoa cause the malaria, of course. We know that Plasmodium is the one that causes the malaria. And malaria ka vector that we have is a mosquito, Anopheles mosquito. Very good. I think you have a doubt in the last one. Virus causes the disease, which is the AIDS. So HIV virus is the virus responsible for causing the disease, which is AIDS. Very good. Sorry, yeah. Cholera. Yes. Very good. Yes. Absolutely correct. What is your doubt? Please ask me. Yes, Arun, what is your doubt? Please ask me. Ma'am, can you please do SST revision for my... So, Carol, for the SST, we did the mentally. Now, I think we don't have that much time. Extremely sorry. There are videos which are there on the channel for class 8. You can please go and watch those sessions. I think now we'll not be able to come up with a new video in the next week. Ringworm is caused by the fungus. Yesterday, we had a question in the Menti. Yes. Anokhi class 7th ki video will be coming in the next week. Okay, IAS. So last mein bache a virus. We know that virus is a living organism once it's entered into the body of a host, but it's non-living once it's outside the human body. But if it's entered into the human body or any other organism, it can cause various diseases. One such is the AIDS. Yes, Ashwara ma'am will be joining the class. Very good. Yes, the fungal infection. Ringworm is a fungal infection. What is the doubt with the yeast, Priya? I think your name was something else. Mridu. I forgot your name. Or, yeah, you told a name. Very good. What is the doubt about the yeast? We know that yeast actually help in the baking of the bread. Yeast is a fungus. Yes. Okay, everyone. So, are we ready with this question, right? Can we move ahead? Yes, it produces the alcohol. Absolutely correct. It's okay, Rani. You can go and watch it later. Good. Chaliye. Let's take a look at the next question, everyone. Here we have. What are the major group of microorganisms? 1 marks question. Such an easy question, right? Very easy question. We have bacteria, protozoa, virus, algae, and fungi. We can write about them. We can mention the diseases over here. So we have mentioned about the different other organisms. We can mention that bacteria causes disease cholera, Plasmodium causes malaria, right? Example of the diseases caused by the bacteria in the animals is the anthrax. In plants, of course, you can mention the bacteria, citrus, canker. Fungi causes the rust of the wheat. So, of course, we have 5 different types, right? We usually don't consider virus, but sometimes we definitely do. Yes, very good. Very good, everyone. So, we have bacteria, virus, fungi, algae, and protozoa. Good. Carol, for class 7th SST will be coming with the Menti. Is baking powder a fungus? No. We will be adding separately the yeast. Yes. Mad Max, yes. It causes the typhoid. Very good, very good. Is it? Okay. Okay, everyone, let's move ahead to the next part. What are antibiotics? What precautions must be taken while taking the antibiotics? It's a very important question. Yes, it's a very, very important question that I'm sure you must have seen in your examination altogether. So here, let's take a look over here. So antibiotics are the medicines that actually help to stop the growth of the bacteria. So antibiotics are usually taken when we have a bacterial infection. Then only the doctor will be asking us to take the antibiotics, right? Against the bacteria. Very good, very good. So antibiotics works against the growth, or they stop the growth or destroy the bacteria which are there in the body. Okay? Then the question, what the next part of the question is that what are the precautions we should take? So first, of course, one of the important thing is that we should not be taking the antibiotics if they are not prescribed by the doctor, right? We should be consulting with the doctor, and then only we should consume the antibiotics, and we should be only consuming in the dosage what doctor usually say. It should not be like acha we cannot just eat it like a toffee or a chocolate, right? For 3 days, 4 days only, if the doctor say this is a course, we should follow that. Because if we take more and more antibiotics, these bacteria will develop the resistance, right? Then these antibiotics will have no effect on the bacteria. They'll be like chilling. Yeah, you take antibiotics, nothing will be happening to me. So we should be considering all of these things if we're taking the antibiotics. So here, this is how you can write the answer, everyone. Antibiotics are the medicines that inhibit the growth or destroy the bacteria. The precaution that must be taken is that medicines are taken only when advised by a qualified doctor, right? Full course of the antibiotics which is prescribed by the doctor should be completed, and antibiotics should be taken in a proper doses, not like extra. Clear, everyone? How these antibiotics are prepared? Interesting question. So if we go into the details of it, there are various methods that we can prepare the antibiotics. So what usually do, I'm giving you a very easiest, very common method that is used. For example, if we take a bacteria, we usually take the E. coli bacteria, right? So for example, if we want to make the medicine for one particular disease, so what we'll do, for example, if we have the bacteria and we want, let's suppose this is an X bacteria, and we are making a medicine Y. Okay, now this bacteria is over here, right? And we have to make sure that we are changing something. There are two methods. One method is definitely changing the genetic makeup of that particular bacteria and getting the medicines. There is other method, making sure we are making a bacteria. We are using something that is really strong that can actually kill the bacteria. In a case, I'm sure you remember the case where the Alexander discovered the penicillin, right? So of course that was a fungus that was used, right? So of course bacteria are there, but fungus was the one that was overpowering, right? And that's why we have the medicines. Clear? Is it by taking the extract of the weakened bacteria? No, in this particular case, it's not that. There are various different methods by which the antibiotics are made. Are we clear, everyone? Yes? So if someone asks you how the antibiotics are produced, you can mention about the discovery, right? Which was found by the Alexander Fleming. It is one of the method, but it will not be coming in your examination. So, okay, so is that a vaccine? No, it's not a vaccine. There's a difference between a vaccine and the antibiotics. Antibiotics were first discovered by the Alexander Fleming. Thank you, Irshad, for helping your friends. It's a 3 marks question. Of course, if they will just ask you what are antibiotics, it can be a question for 1 marks also. It is important to write the examples in the examination, Gungun. Absolutely. For example, if they're asking to write the names of the antibiotics, you can mention, right? If they're asking to name the name of the bacteria that causes the diseases, you can definitely mention. Okay. Now, I think you're asking about the vaccination. We will have a question. So, we'll be discussing about that. Okay. I will explain you that. So, let's take a look over here that what are vaccine and what are antibiotics. Or antibodies, right? No, there was a question on the antibiotics. Okay. 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 So, when we talk about the vaccine, what we do, right? We take the dead, right? We take the dead or weak microorganism. right? We will be taking the dead or the weak microorganisms and we will add them into the serum. Now this serum will be going inside our body, right? And what will happen as they enter into our body will start fighting against them. In our body, we have WBCs. They will actually detect these microorganisms and they will start fighting. As these microbes are not very active, right? These are WBCs, our body cells can easily defend them. Okay, are we clear up to here? Amit, can we focus over here? He was a scientist who discovered this process. That's how we can actually have the milk that we have right over here. Yes, are we clear up to here, everyone? Quickly tell me. Very good, very good. Are we clear right up to here? Now, so what happens, our brain, so WBCs are fighting and the microorganisms which have entered, they're not so active, right? So they are completely gone. Now our brain will be keeping a memory, right? Our brain is very smart, so it will keep a memory. You know what? This is how I have to fight if these microorganisms will attack my body again. So that's how you know, right? You know you actually know the answers of the question. When you write them 100 times throughout the year, you know the answer. Yes or no? Yes or no? Quickly. Yes? Yesterday you all were saying, now ma'am, this question is repeated. Ma'am, this question is repeated. Sir, this question was repeated. Similarly, once the brain have that memory, this organisms was entered my body way long back, but I know how I have to defeat it. As soon as we have a living organism, they will be happy. Yay, I know the answer, right? And they will produce mast cells that will be killing that microorganism. So are we clear how vaccines work and what are vaccines? Yes. Tomorrow science exam, all the best, Rani. Good. Done right? Easy peasy? Okay. Now the antibiotics work only against the bacteria. If there's a virus infection, if you're taking antibiotics, nothing will happen. It will actually hamper our health of our body. It will kill the good bacteria. There are chances it might kill the good bacteria. Yes. So antibiotics are specially made for the bacteria. And of course, we have just discussed that how they work. Okay? Very good. You'll be learning in your higher classes how they actually work on the bacteria. Just in a short, if I want to tell you, I'm sure Aishwarya ma'am would have taught you this, that these antibiotics will be breaking the cell wall. There are various different mechanisms how they will be destroying the bacteria. One of the easiest one for you to remember is that they will damage the cell wall. It's the antibiotics. Bimal, it's the antibiotics. Antibiotics, not antibodies. Clear, everyone? Are we clear? Quick thumbs up, everyone. How's the Josh in the class? I can see 53 of you are here. Super proud, everyone. You all are giving the answers. Come on, quick thumbs up and we will move ahead to the next question. Good, good, very good. Okay, so the next question is super easy. Write 10 lines on the usefulness of the microorganisms in our life. You can write like this, right? Okay, Gauri, I'll take your question. What are antibodies and antibiotics? Antibiotics are made in the industries. They are the one that will be killing the bacteria. Whereas antibodies are made in the human body. Right? Antibodies are made in the human body. And they are we can say, right? They are kind of the cells. Or not the cells, sorry. They are the one that will be fighting against the microorganisms. Clear? Priya, I've answered your question. Good. Now here we have the answer, everyone. So we have beneficial microorganism in food industry, medical industries and waste management. So here we can write it. So I'm not reading out all of this because already you know about it. You can take a screenshot. They help us in making the vaccine. They help us in making the antibodies. They help us in making the food, cheese, chocolate, not chocolate, cheese for sure, curd. There's so many things, right? Yes, so you can mention all of these points. You can pick any of your favorite 10 microorganisms and how they help us. You can write about that. Good. And antibiotics. Pickles we don't have. Pickles so is preservation. Yes. Okay, they are everywhere. Yeah, that we have to remember. It's okay, Gunu, I'm not cutting your marks. Let's take a look, everyone, at the next important question. I'm sure you would have seen this question throughout the year in your question papers. Name the microorganisms which can actually help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Very easy. Very easy process, right? Rhizobium. Absolutely correct. So we know that these amazing, huge, beautiful bacteria, we haven't seen them, but yeah, we can call them cute. I'm sure they're definitely very cute. So these cute bacteria lives in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, and we call them as rhizobium. Just one example, you'll be learning more. Yes, nitrosomonas. We have other bacteria also, and these bacteria actually help in breaking the atmospheric nitrogen and making it into a form that can be easily taken by the plants. Okay, so here we have rhizobium. We have cyanobacteria also, which is also called as blue-green algae. Ma'am, when is class 6 full maths and science revision? Anishka, I'm not sure about the maths revision, but for the science revision, we have the next week. Yes, good. Very good, very good. And for the science ka 6 ka NCERT, we already did. Yes, so you can actually go and check on the channel. We did for class 6 NCERT ka questions. Okay, so with this, everyone, with a lot of pride actually, we have completed second chapter. So we are done with 2 chapters, crop production and microorganism. Now we are jumping to the next very easy chapter, which is conservation of plants and animal. Are you ready for that? Ankita ma'am's favorite symbol is smiley. Yes. What is rhizobium used for? So rhizobium is a bacteria which is present in the leguminous plant like pea plant, soybean plant, right? And it is present inside the roots, and it actually help in fixing or breaking the atmospheric nitrogen into the different forms that can be used by the plants. Yes, very good. So everyone, now we are moving to the conservation chapter. This is the last chapter, and the other chapters will be taken by Aishwarya ma'am. So let's quickly move ahead. So here we have the easiest chapter, everyone, and this is my favorite chapter. I love this chapter. Why not cell structure and function? So, me and Aishwarya ma'am were just discussing about this chapter, and I was like, you know what? I love conservation wala chapter, so I'll teach that. Yeah, so I'm taking that chapter, then cell structure and function, reproduction in animals, and reaching the age of adolescence. Aishwarya ma'am will be coming here and will be discussing with the chapters with you. Cell is the easy one, right? Awesome. Ma'am, does lightning also does the same? Shashwat, yes, we know that it also actually help in breaking the atmospheric nitrogen into the different, basically it will be breaking the nitrogen. That nitrogen is not nitrogen when it get broken down. It will be getting attached with the oxygen. It will be forming the other molecules, and it will go into the soil. There is one another way that we have. You will be learning about that in the class 9th. Yes, in class 9th you'll be learning about that. One more year, right? Actually, not one more year. You are already done with your class 8th. Next class is already there. Okay? Shashwat, and if you want to learn about it, you know what you can do after this class, if your examination are done, you can actually go and watch the 9th and 10th channel. There we have discussed this. Okay. Your favorite chapter also. Very good, Shelly. Chaliye. Yes, thank you. Let's get started. Why can't both the teachers tell us at the same time? Sanika, if both the teachers will teach you at the same time, you will not be able to focus. Both of us will be talking. Right? Just imagine if both of your parents are talking to you at the same time. Right? And asking you, how was your day? Or what you did? Or what you want to eat? Or you will get confused, right? So that's why. Okay. Chalo, everyone. Here we have the next question from the chapter Conservation of Plants and Animal. Very easy. One doubt. Always write your answer in points. Okay. Differentiate between the following. So here we have Let's take a look at one of these one by one. Wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserve. So very two important types of natural conservation. These are the natural conservation methods, conservation that happens in their natural habitat, right? So we have the wildlife sanctuary and we have the biosphere reserve. Now wildlife sanctuary, as the word say, wildlife sanctuary, it is there for the conservation of the wild animals like tiger, lions, etc. All the animals which live in a wild, in a forest, they will be protected if they are under the threat. That is the wildlife sanctuary. Now, wildlife sanctuaries are well protected area where, of course, little bit amount of the tourism is allowed, right? Based upon the permission from the government, people can go and visit it. Very at the outer skirts, right? Very not at the core area, but at the outside, people can go and take the goods also from the forest, but not without the permission of the government official. We have biosphere reserve. Now it conserves everything. Plants, animals, the people who are living inside, the tribal people, right? All of it will be conserved in the biosphere reserve. So biosphere reserves are usually very large area. It can include national park and wildlife sanctuaries also. Sanctuary means, sanctuary, there are two, definitely there are various meaning of sanctuaries. Over here, what are we looking for? The word is an area which is well protected. IAS, it's IAS. I have answered your question, and of course we have one more century. 100 wala century that we say. Okay. Clear everyone? So that is the main difference between the wildlife sanctuary and the biosphere reserve. Ma'am, class 7 bio revision. They will be having it next week. Don't worry, we will be having it. Tomorrow is, your exam is tomorrow. So if that's the case, please go and watch our videos which are there on the channel. We have done one-shot videos altogether. So if you watch them at 2x speed or at 1.7x, 1.75 speed, it will be good for you. Okay, let's move ahead everyone to the next part, which is the difference between the zoo and wildlife sanctuary. Hi Jostna, Himlata, your name is really very big, but welcome to the class. My name is Ankita. Yes, very good. Pathogen. So what is the difference between a pathogen? A pathogen is a disease causing microorganism. Antigen is something that actually is a foreign substance. It could be anything, right? It's a foreign substance. Yes. Okay. Prateek, what you didn't understand, can you write it out over here? So everyone, what is the difference between zoo and wildlife sanctuary? Zoo, of course, is an artificial, man-made conservation site, basically, right? We know that in zoo, of course, it's an artificial habitat. It's not the natural habitat of the animals, but they are protected there for the conservation. That is a zoo. Then, of course, we have the wildlife sanctuary we have just discussed. So there's a difference between what is natural, one is not, it's basically artificial. Okay? Then let's move ahead to the next part. Endangered species and the extinct species. So endangered species are those that actually are on a verge of getting extinction, right? The numbers are very less. If we don't protect them further, the number will get reduced and they'll not be there. Extinct matlab these species are no more on our planet Earth. So now a very good example I want you to remember is the Indian cheetah. Now, of course, very recently, I'm sure you would have heard in the news and I'm sure you would have seen in the news also that cheetah from the Africa came to our country. Yes or no, everyone? Quickly tell me. Yes. Jaldi say. Very quickly. Very good, very good. I'm sure you would have seen in the news, right? So those are not Indian cheetah. Yes, in our country, way long back, right, we have Indian cheetahs. But now they are not there. They're completely extinct. Yes, very good. Dinosaurs are extinct. They are not endangered. They are completely gone. Yeah, we don't have dinosaurs. Okay. So this is how you can write the examples and mention. So everyone, please make sure. Okay, over here, I don't know why they have mentioned this. It should be in this. I think the animals have interchange, everyone. These belong to the endangered and this belongs to the extinct species. Yes. Yeah, I have checked the examples. I'm making a cross. Yes, very good. So this is clear, right? Dinosaurs are gone. Way long. I think there are various other animals also. There's a bird, dodo. Right? Yes, very good, Anshik. I was thinking about this only. Yes. And I think there was a time when tiger was also in the endangered species list, but now they have been moved. Interesting, right? And usually in the pictures, right, the extinct animal are usually given in the black and white pictures. Yes, very good. Okay, let's move ahead, everyone, to the next difference between we have flora and fauna. Easy. The plants which are found in a particular area is called as flora for plants and fauna for the animals. Yes, very good. Priya, what are endangered animals? So endangered animals are those species, right, whose number is very less, right? And if we don't take any further action for their conservation, we might lose them. Okay, those are the endangered species. Okay, this is the easiest one, everyone. Flora and fauna. So this is how you can write the answer. I'm just moving aside. Take a screenshot. Yes, take a screenshot. Beetle. Yes, we do have beetle. They are there in a good number. Nothing is happening to them. Yes. Good, good, very good, everyone. Yes, so we have all the list of these animals in all of the plants and animal species in the red data book. Good. Okay, let's take a look at this question, everyone. So we have to discuss the effects of deforestation of the following. How the deforestation affect the wild animals, environment, village, cities, earth, and the next generation. So we know that deforestation is nothing but the loss of the forest, right? If a particular part of forest is completely cut off, we are cutting the trees, we call it as a deforestation. So how it has effect on the wild animals? They're losing their habitat, right? They're losing their homes and they will be on a verge of getting extinct or they're endangered species. Environment, there's a lot of disbalance in the environment, right? Because plants actually help us in maintaining the CO2 level. But of course, because of the deforestation, the number of trees are getting reduced. There's more amount of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And because of that, we had global warming. Very good. Greenhouse effect. Awesome. Village may, of course, we know that as, of course, there's rural area, there's a lot of climate change which is happening. People are suffering, right? Many people were very dependent on these resources. They have been forced to move to different places for their jobs, to look for the food, etc. Cities may, of course, we are cutting down the forest, right, and making the homes. Floods are there, absolutely. Floods are there, it causes floods. Very good, very good. Yes, very good. Everyone, let's just stay focused in class. Good. Earth may, of course, climate change is happening. And the next generation might not be see few animals and plants, right? And for next generation, we are creating a very not so great environment for living. So, you can mention all of these points. This is how you can write. So, wild animals, I think IAS lover is asking about this wildlife sanctuaries, right? So, they're losing their home. They're losing their natural habitat. That's why it is a loss and they have the direct impact of the deforestation. Deforestation of the environment, we can mention about the global warming and about the other effects, right, that we have. Then deforestation for the villager, affect their rural life, decreases soil fertility, and extra point you can mention. Urban people, cities, maybe we can mention about the pollution. Yes, and then of course we have for the earth, we can mention about the global warming, floods, drought, etc. And deforestation for the next generation. They will face lots and lots of issue. Very good. And which chapter is done? Rishabh, so we are done with the 2 chapters, crop production and management and microorganism. This is 3rd chapter, which is conservation of plants and animal. Once we're done with this chapter, as 3 chapters will be taken by Aishwarya ma'am. So let's focus and let's move ahead. Next question, everyone on your screen. In order to meet the ever-increasing demand in factories and shelter for trees are being continuously cut. Is it justified to cut trees for such project? Discuss and prepare a brief report. It's a very easy question, right? It's a very easy question where you have to write what you think. So in the question itself, they have mentioned as is increased demand of the trees, right? There's increased demand to clear the trees, to make the shelter, factories, right? Is it good or is it justified to cut the trees? Yes or no? You have to justify your answer. So we know that there is a need, there's a demand of the land. But do you think deforestation is a solution for that? No, right? It is not justifiable. We should not be doing that. So what you can mention about in this particular way, that it is never justified to cut the trees to fulfill our needs, because we know that trees are called as lungs of our planet. They are the natural home for many organisms. They actually help us in maintaining the balance of oxygen and CO2. They actually help us in binding the soil and prevent the soil erosion. They reduce the chances of natural disaster like flood and drought. They help in conservation of biodiversity, help in reducing the global warming. So this is how you can mention. So basically, if you look at this question, right, I know it's a little bit difficult question for us to understand, but what you have to write is the importance of the forest. Why they are important. Why the forest area is important for us. If you write those points, you will be getting the marks. Are we clear with this question, everyone? Yes, very good. Very good, Adiva, Gungun, Astha, Sanika. Very good. Yes, are we clear, everyone? Quick thumbs up. Yes, can we move to the next question? Yes, lover. Biodiversity means rich diversity. So bio means life, right? When we have the variety of life around us, we call it as biodiversity. Yes, very good. See, I hope that your doubt is now clear. If it's not clear, I would request you to go back. You can leave the class now because I think you have few doubts. So what you can do actually for your own benefit, you can leave the class now and you can go and watch the other session that we have done, right? That will be helping you in understanding the topics in detail. Everyone, let's take a look at the next question. How can you contribute to the maintenance of the green wealth of your locality? Make a list of action to be taken by you. Easy question, everyone, right? Such an easy question. What we can do to protect our environment? Reforestation. To add more trees, reforestation, right? Easy peasy. Yes, biosphere reserves meaning. So basically, biosphere reserve are the very big area, protected area for the conservation of plants, animals, the local tribe which are living there. Good, everyone. Reforestation is the answer. Apart from that, we can do a lot, right? Planting saplings and trees, by not throwing the garbage in the street, by forbidding to the cutting of the trees, by making people aware about it, watering the plants, and reusing and recycling materials, right? Easy. So again, these all are the questions that you can write in your own words. I didn't get your question, Sarita. Ma'am, all of these questions are also, I didn't get, okay, you're asking that all of these questions are in the, I'm not sure, Sarita. You can check in your textbook, right? But the answers would be kind of same. The questions I'm sure that can be asked from this particular chapter will be almost same. Good, very good, to spread the awareness, right? Everyone, next question. I think it's a very easy question. Why should paper be saved? Prepare a list. Prepare a list of ways by which you can save paper. Easy, right? So, of course, we know that 25 trees are required to produce 1 ton of paper. So, what we can do to save paper? Easy, right? By recycling the paper, by using the paper by putting our thoughts into it, that we should not be wasting the paper, right? And paper should not be burnt. We should not be making the planes in the class, throwing at our friends. We should not be making the balls out of the paper also, right? We should focus more on the recycling part of it. Write boards out of paper, very good. Writing exam, yes, recycling. Okay, there was a question. What is the difference between the biodiversity and biosphere reserve? So biodiversity is nothing but the variety of life that we have around us, and biosphere reserve are the areas made by the government, right, that are there for the protection of the animals, plants, and the monuments which are there inside that particular area, and the tribal people who stays there in that area. That is called as biosphere reserve. The protected area is called as the biosphere reserve. Blessy, I hope that you got this answer. Can we use slate instead of paper for practicing? Sanika, it's not very practical. Nowadays, we have the whiteboards, right? If you have a whiteboard, you can use it, right? Slate is not I think it's not feasible in today's time. I know, Gungun. Okay, everyone. So, with our surprise, in 1 hour, we have finished the 3 interesting and super important chapters. Now, we will be moving to the next 3 chapters, and ma'am will be taking over from here. So, now you will have the cell wala chapter, which is interesting, right? Super interesting chapter we have. So, everyone, are you ready? Yes, are you ready for it? So, I think I would suggest that let's take a break of 5 minutes, right? So, because it's a lot of information that you have studied, right? We'll take a break of 5 minutes, and I want each of you to come back, and then ma'am will discuss the 3 remaining chapters. Okay? Difference between fertilizers and manure. Fertilizers are man-made. They are nutrient specific, and yeah, that's it. You can write the example like urea, phosphate, nitrogen, etc. Manure are organic material. They are made in the backyard of the parks or the field, right? And they're very, very friendly, eco-friendly. Good. No, IS lover, why should I hate you? No, you're a very good student of the class, and I feel good that you're here with us. I'm just telling you, I think that if you have some doubts, those videos will be able to help you. Because in classes like this, what are we focusing? We're just focusing on the question. If you want to learn the concept, you can learn from there. Suggestion from a teacher to you. Yes, Rishabh, absolutely correct. Thank you for sharing that information. Awesome, everyone. Chalo. See, now I think I will be moving because there's one more class that I have to jump into. I would request all of you to be back, right, at 6:05. Let's have a break, small, chotu sa break. Okay? Break time. So we'll meet at 6:10. Ashwara ma'am, is it okay? 6:10? Yes. So everyone, ma'am, we'll start the class at 6:10 p.m. Pani time, yes. Yes, Adiva, yes. Okay, everyone. Arey, I don't hate anybody. I love everyone. Aisha? Yes. Okay, everyone. So I'll be meeting you really very soon. Till that time, aram se go, take a walk, drink water, right? And get ready for the next session. Yes, that will be for class 8th. The remaining chapters. Okay, everyone. Lots of love. Hearts. Bye-bye. See you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah. Hello everybody, good evening and welcome back to today's marathon on the NCERT question 8. I hope all of you here are super duper excited, and I can see that all of you paid attention to Ankita Mam's class and you asked her all of your doubts, got everything clarified. So I hope all of you now are excited to do the last set of questions. And we know that the next 3 chapters you and I are going to be covering together is going to be from cell structure function, reproduction in animals, and reaching the age of adolescence. So good evening everyone, good evening. Now today I need all of you also to be having a lot of enthusiasm and energy in you, because you know at all times I bring in all the enthusiasm and energy, but today I'm a little down and not keeping as best of my health, I would say. So which is why at the same time, as much as I'm excited and energetic, I need your energy as well. So good evening to everybody here. Divyan, Shreyan, Shashwat, Sanika. I have Gungun, Yugal, Adiva, so many of you. Shruti. Good evening. Brilliant. Make sure that you hit the like button if you haven't. Please make sure you share this video with your friends as well. And in about the next 40 minutes, we'll wind up next 3 chapters. Okay? See, I do understand that some of you here do not have cell as a chapter, right? And I know that some of you here do have cell. So which is why I'll still cover it in case if you tell me, ma'am, cell is not there, it's okay. Next year you have to learn cell chapter. So it'll anyway come handy for all of you. So let's get started. Yes, thank you so much for your wishes also. So let's get started with cell structure function. Now we know that when we talk about cell, we know that cell is a basic unit of life and it's the structural and functional unit, right? So in this case, you need to give me the answers to this particular question. So now here we have a simple true or false. Unicellular organisms have one cell body. Statement is true or false. If it is deleted chapter, it's okay, bacha. You can always learn it, or you can just give me the answer, right? Yes, Divyanshi will give, Divyanshi, kindly pay attention. We can discuss all of this later. Yes? Very good. I can see most of the answers coming in. We know that when we talk about unicellular organisms, unicellular means they are single-celled, right? Single-celled, or they are one-celled organisms, right? So in this case, we know that paramecium is an example of a unicellular organism. Can you also give me another example? I can see someone has already given me an example. They've given me, but I want all of you also to give me further examples of unicellular organisms. Yes, very good. Amoeba, very good. Amoeba is another example. And all the best to those of you who have exams tomorrow. I hope you do amazingly well. You have my blessings with you. Chlamydomonas, very good. Bacteria, very good. Very good examples are coming. Mycoplasma, oh, amazing. Yes, okay. Yeast is an example. Yes. So now I do understand that you have a good idea about it. Christina, algae will be a very generic way of saying, it's a very broad way because there are some multicellular algae as well. So try to be more specific, okay? Now moving on to the next statement. Muscle cells are branched. Yes or no? True or false? Are muscle cells branched? Or specifically in this case, when we look at smooth muscle cells, right? Smooth muscle cells, are they branched or no? Yes, all right. Can we make me a little more smaller on screen? This is a little too big. And just adjust the lighting also, the color correction. Yes, very good everyone, very good. They are not branched, right? Because we know that in the case of smooth muscle cells specifically, we know that they are spindle shaped, and one single cell will have a spindle shape like this, which is broad in the center, narrow in the side. Statement is false. Amazing. Moving on to the next question. The basic unit of life, the basic living unit of an organism is an organ. Is this statement true or false? The basic living unit, or the basic unit of life, the fundamental unit of life is what we call, is it called an organ, or is it the organ of our body? Yes, very good. The statement is false because it should be cell, right? Cell is the basic unit of our life. And we know that various cells come together to form tissues. Different types of tissues come together to form organs, right? So in different levels of organization, we observe that cell is the basic unit of life. Yes, very good. Now moving on to the next one. Amoeba has an irregular shape. True or false? Amoeba has an irregular shape. True or false? Very easy, right? We just discussed about how amoeba is a unicellular organism, right? So what should it be? Exactly, it is true. Because we know that whenever we draw amoeba, we would draw it something like this, right? That means it has an indefinite shape or it has an irregular shape. Yes? So well done, all of you. Well done. With this, of course, we have recalled the different types of organisms, right? And of course, we've spoken about cells as well. I saw a question where they asked me, what do you mean by branch? Branch is kind of like a tree only, right? Like how tree has a branches and it goes in different directions. We're talking about cells being branched as well. Yes, we can guess by shape too. Yes, exactly. No, Aisha, why are you asking this to me and Ankita ma'am? We don't. Now moving on to the next one, make sketches of plant and animal cells and state 3 differences between them. Now first and foremost, sketches, of course, we have done it in the earlier classes in detail. So here in this case, I'll not be going into the sketches. But here, this particular question on having differences between plant and animal cell can be commonly asked in your final exam, right? So very quickly, can you all tell me differences between plant and animal? I already saw one of it, right? Yes, see, Harsimran has the screenshot also. Very good, very good. So those of you who have not checked that video out, there's a specific session on cell NCERT where I've shown you how to go about drawing it also, right? So I can see the first one where everybody's talking me about cell wall, saying, ma'am, plant has cell wall. So cell wall is there in plants. While is cell wall present in animals? No, right? It is not present in animals. Next up, I can see about plastids. Okay, everybody's talking to me about plastids. We know that plastids are double-membraned organelles which impart pigment. So in this case, we know that plastids are present in plants and they are absent in animals. Yes, Shashwat, the third one will be vacuole. In vacuole, is it bigger? Vacuoles are bigger in plants, right? Larger vacuoles in plants. What about animals? Very quickly. What do we observe in animals? Okay. They will take me out of the camera for 2 minutes, okay? If I go missing from the screen, don't get worried. They're just adjusting something on the back. Larger, okay, yes, one thing. But another thing is lysosomes as well, right? No sound. Are you able to hear me? Please check the sound. Are you all able to hear me or has my sound gone? Yes, ma'am, I am able to hear you. Okay. Hi, I've become Mr. Yeah, I've become Mr. India. They've just taken me off screen, okay, because they are adjusting something in the camera. So, which is I'm back. Are you all able to hear me now? Yes. Are you all able to hear me? Are you all able to see me? Audio, video, everything is good. No. At least audio should be there. No. Give me a thumbs up. Yes, like Chumantar. Okay. Ma'am, if plastids are why our cells have color. Oh, nice. See, we may not have the same kind of pigments that are there in plants. But if you think about it, something like our skin color, when we talk about it, it's because of a deposition of another pigment that is there, which is melanin, right? So that is the answer to that. Very good, everybody. Very good. All right. So let's go on to the next question. So these are the 3 points of differences that you will have to write. And trust me, put a star mark in your notebooks because this question can come in the exam for 3 marks. 3 marks means you have to write 3 points. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. This is again very commonly asked in the exam, right? Easily this can come for a 2-mark question, right? So here they're asking between differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Yes? Thank you, Akshara. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on. Well-defined nucleus. Now you have to tell me which has well-defined nucleus and which does not. Okay, I know you know the answers to everything, but you'll have to tell me where is what. Otherwise, what is the point? Eukaryotes have no proper structure. Or do prokaryotes have no proper structure? Think about it. What do you think would be the answer? Definite nucleus, yes, I understand. But you should tell me which has definite nucleus. Nucleus of cell is well defined in eukaryotes. Very good. That means that this has a well-defined nucleus, right? Now, when I say well-defined nucleus, it means that the genetic material that is there is enclosed by a nuclear membrane, right? So, we know that there is a nuclear membrane enclosing it. But in this case, when you talk about prokaryotes, we know that there is no well-defined nucleus, right? So, they have no well-defined nucleus. But instead, what do they have? We see that their genetic material is found concentrated in one part of the cytoplasm, right? In a certain region of the cytoplasm. And we call this as the nucleoid region, right? So, they are very primitive. So here, as you can see, this is what we call as the nucleoid, and here, as we know, we can see that in this case, this is the nucleus, right? Most eukaryotes are multicellular, while prokaryotics are normally unicellular, right? And along with that, we also observe membrane-bound cell organelles in eukaryotic cells, while here, in this case, we see that there are no membrane-bound cell organelles, right? So we see that there are no membrane-bound cell organelles. Now you can also write some examples. You can write about how we have animal cell, plant cell, all of them are examples. While in this case, bacteria here is an example for the same, right? So in this case, if you go about it, this is how you will go. Starting with the definition, what type of cell they are, right? What kind of nucleus they have, and of course, the kind of, cell organelles they have, and the example. Rishabh, can I take this question when I do reproduction? If that is okay, I have read your question, but I feel like it's more relevant if I do it when I do reproduction, okay? Nucleolus is present in nucleus of eukaryotes. Yes, you can write that, right? Is mycoplasma prokaryotic? Yes, it is. Raghavan, I will try my best, okay? Moving on to the next one. Explain why chloroplasts are found only in plant cells, right? Now here you need to tell me why chloroplasts are found only in plant cells. All-time song, the biggest cell organelle would most likely be, like most often they're not, in some cases which have really large vacuoles, it will be the vacuole. But if the vacuole is not as large as possible, normally we see that the nucleus is the prominent structure. Okay? Yes. Now moving on to the next one, right? Why are chloroplasts found only in plant cells? Now, this is a very tricky question. It's not direct, right? Because plants prepare their own food. We'll finish it off in another half an hour to 40 minutes max. I'll finish it off quickly. Don't worry. Exactly, right? So we know that chloroplasts are nothing but a type of plastid that is there, right? And we know that plastids at the end of the day, they have certain colors, and plastids are found only in plants, right? And we know that chloroplasts contain a certain green pigment which is essential for photosynthesis, right? Which is why in this case, when you're writing the answer, why are chloroplasts essential? Because plants prepare their own food and they need these chloroplasts for this process, because chloroplast consists of chlorophyll that is essential, right, for manufacturing food by the process of photosynthesis, right? So in this case, yes, very good. I can see the answers in the chat as well. That is the correct answer. Normally, you'll get this kind of a question in 2 marks. Prabhavati, you're asking me a difference between turgidity and rigidity. Very interesting question. The concept is actually, like in NCERT case, I feel like you will learn it only in 9th grade about turgidity. But basically, when you say something is turgid, right, it means that you think about how if you have a balloon, right? You imagine you have a balloon, okay, and you've not filled it with water. It looks all, saggy and wrinkly like this. But then you fill this balloon with water, what will happen? it will now become big like this, right? Which means that it is because of the water, we see that there is some pressure which is getting exerted here, and we see that it has gotten a more proper structure. So we say that this right here is turgid. This condition is what we call as turgid, right? But in this case, when you talk about rigidity, right? Now I take this bottle and I am hitting it as hard as I can, right? But there's no change in shape. It's remaining as it is. It means that this here is rigid, right? So turgidity and rigidity that is there is slightly different, okay? It's like very fine points, but turgidity is what is used to maintain a certain shape. Rigidity is how strong it is so that it can still be as it is, right? So that is what we understand by it. Moving on to the next question, everybody, will pick up the pace a little more, okay? I'm going to pick up the pace a little more. Cells are the basic structural units of living organisms. Explain this particular question. This will be a 2-mark question or it can be a 3-mark question as well. So can you tell me, Kriti, I am very good, bacha. I hope you are doing well too. Love you too, everyone. Okay. How can we say that cell is the basic unit or basic structural units? Yes? Of living organisms, because they form tissues and then organs. Okay, all right. Yes, of course, we see that, and in this case, in multicellular organisms, we see that at the end of the day, the most basic unit that is there are the cells, right? Very good. So now, in another way or in another way of phrasing it, right? What you can do is, if you take any living organism and you zoom into its structure, we see that each and every living organism is made up of cells, right? So they are the basic unit, and each and every different parts of the body are made up of cells. Very good. So when you're writing the answer, you can say that it is the basic fundamental unit, and we know that at the end of the day, different parts of the body are made of cells, right? And in multicellular, see, if you are writing about the if you're writing about cell to tissue, tissue to organ, and if you're writing about the levels of organization, do mention that especially in multicellular organisms, we see that tissues are formed by many cells, right? So that is something that you can write, but mention that we're talking about in multicellular organisms, okay? All right. So with this, of course, everyone, we come to the end of cell structure function. Now, out of 10, we have quickly revised the chapter. What is your confidence level? How much are you feeling out of 10? At least it should be minimum 8, right? Minimum should be 8. Your confidence level should be 8, 8.5, okay? Yes. Oh, okay. So we will finish the next set of questions by 6:55. That is possible. Okay? 6:55 is our aim. Yes, 9.5 out of 10. Amazing. Somebody was asking me, ma'am, do you teach Olympiad? I teach Olympiad as well. Alright? Okay, very good. So let's get started with reproduction in animals, everybody. We have an aim, right? We have an aim that by 6:55 we will finish the next set of questions. 10 out of 10. I'm more than happy. If you've studied from me and you're telling me, ma'am, if we've learned from you, it's 10 out of 10. Then I have nothing more left, right? 6:55 is our aim to finish the session today. So don't worry. Before 7 o'clock, we will definitely wind up. Yes? Let's move on to reproduction in animals, right? So now this particular chapter is very important on an examination front. Very important again when we talk about it in our board examination front. So this is where you need to make sure that you build your fundamentals, right? Rishabh, can you send that question to me once again on the chat, bacha? I will answer it now, okay? Now the first question is, explain the importance of reproduction. Why do we require reproduction, right? So can you tell me what is the importance? This is a 2-mark question which can come again. Yes? I can see that Sultan has already sent me the answer. Roblox has sent it to me. Harsimran, Sanika, Darshan. Very good. Exactly. Okay. Just give me one moment, Rishabh. I'm going to open it in my phone so that I can see your comment. All right. Okay, everybody. Very good. Very good. Okay, Aris. Very sorry about that. Yes. So now in this case, I can see that most of you have given me the correct answer, right? So now in this case, we know that reproduction is nothing but the biological process in which living organisms will make young ones of their own kind. Now, why do they do this process? So that at the end of the day, we see that there can be continuation of species. So an organism is able to survive generation after generation, even after its death, only because it is reproducing. But if an organism does not reproduce, then eventually it will die and its population will start to reduce. So apart from ensuring continuity of species, it also protects it from extinction and maintains the process. Which is why in this case, the correct answer is written in this manner. Start out with the definition that reproduction is the biological process where living organisms give birth to young ones of their own kind, and why it is necessary. You will get 2 marks for this particular question. Now moving on to the question Rishabh asked me, okay? Rishabh has asked me, my assertion statement is binary fission is a kind of asexual reproduction, okay? Now reason being that amoeba reproduces by binary fission, which is the correct explanation. So now in this case, it is little tricky, okay? This question is little tricky because they're saying binary fission is a process of asexual reproduction. Reason being that amoeba reproduces by binary fission, okay? So this is the reason. Amoeba reproduces by binary fission. Do you think that the reason is the correct explanation? Is reason the correct explanation for A? Can you tell me, is reason the correct explanation for A? Yes or no? I can see the correct. Gungun, very good, okay. A is true, A is true, but R is not the correct explanation for A. Yes, very good. I am so proud of all of you. It is not the perfect explanation, right? Yes, exactly. Now, how will you find out if something is the correct explanation? I have always told you with assertion and reason. Put a Y after this, right? Binary fission is a form of asexual reproduction. Why? Is it because amoeba reproduces by binary fission? Absolutely not. But if the reason suggested that only one parent is involved, then yes, of course, then we know that this would be the correct reasoning. But in this case, what do we see? We see that in this case, it is not the, this is not the case, right? Here, both A and R are true. They both are true statements. But R is not the correct explanation for A, alright? It is not the correct explanation. So I hope all of you are now clear. Rishabh, I hope I've answered your doubt, bacha. Okay? I hope now you are clear. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay? Yes, Junior World, I'll come there. I'll come there. Yes. Very good. What is ovulation? Playbeat ovulation is the release of egg from the ovary, right? That is what we mean by ovulation. Moving on to the next one. Describe the process of fertilization, right? Okay. And I have given correct answer. Okay, you can talk to her, Rishabh, once and you can try talking to her about it. Yes. Now moving on to the next question. Yes, describe the process of fertilization. This is a 5-mark question. What will you start with? What will you start the explanation with? What is the first thing that you will write here? From what will you start and what are the 5 things that you will write about? It's like I have forgotten to number. Yes, Riya, please ask me your doubt, bacha. No problem. Fusion of, you will start with the definition. Very good. You will start with the definition. Correct. You will start with it. Then what will you do? What is the definition of fertilization? I'm already seeing the answers. The definition of fertilization is nothing but fertilization is the process of fusion of male and female gametes, right? Then you will write process. Okay, in process, what will you start with first? What will you write? In the process. See, that is what I need you to understand. For those of you who are very new to class, welcome to class. I'm your teacher Aishwarya. I mainly teach biology on the channel. And I hope that you're all enjoying today's class. Yes? Okay. Very good. Yes, you will write about sperms and ovum. So now you will write from where the gametes are released, right? So here we know. Riya, in this question, I will answer your doubt, okay? So then you will start off with writing about from where the male gamete is coming from, right? And how where the female gamete is coming from. right? So here we will talk about these two. And once you write about from where male and female gamete comes from, you need to write about how when the male gamete enters. Then again you will have to reiterate the process of fertilization here. And then finally you can talk about how the zygote formation takes place, right? So if I have to go ahead with it, so I'll start with the definition. Fertilization is the process by which a male gamete, which is the sperm, and the female gamete will fuse to give rise to a single cell structure called the zygote, right? Now we know that the male gamete is produced by the male body, and it is produced in the testes, and then of course it is released into the female reproductive tract. Now in the meanwhile, if the female gamete, which is the egg, is released by the ovary, then we know that in the oviduct, right, you have to also mention site of fertilization. In the oviduct, we see that fusion of male and female gamete takes place, resulting in the formation of a single cell zygote. This zygote undergoes further development, giving rise to a young one, right? You can write oviduct, you can write fallopian tube also. Yes? So you need to write it in this manner, right? So start with the definition, then write about male gamete being released, then how it enters into the female body, then where fusion takes place, right? And then ultimately it results in the formation of a zygote. What is a zygote? Zygote is a single-celled structure. It's a single-cell structure formed by the fusion of male and female gamete, right? So that is what we mean by it. Then fetus and gestation period, no, you don't need to write that much, right? See, it's a 5-mark question. You have to write this much, okay? They only asked you for process of fertilization. They have not asked you what happens after fertilization, okay? They've just asked you till what happens in fertilization, yes? Moving on to the next one. Give me differences between zygote and fetus. Whoever is having doubt with embryo also, I will tell you now. And for those of you who got full marks, very proud of you. A lot of you telling me, ma'am, after studying here, we've got full marks. Let me know in the comments of this video as well, letting me know your marks so that I can comment, right? Yes, okay. Ma'am, I will remember all the points. Yes, it's important that you write it point-wise and step-wise, right? So in that way, it's easier. Okay, very good. Now you have zygote. I've already given you the answer for zygote. Now you should tell me what is the difference between zygote and they've asked fetus. Now in between they've also asked you about, I'll do the differences between embryo also. So you have zygote, fetus and embryo. Now in this case we know that zygote is unicellular because it's formed by the fusion, right? Now embryo is multicellular, right? It is a multicellular structure, right? But here we see that there are no limbs, which means hands and legs are not formed, right? And we know that only some major parts of the body are formed, right? But later, of course, we see that fetus is a little more advanced where we observe limbs. That means hands and legs are formed. And then we know that the body is further developing, right? So zygote eventually becomes an embryo. Embryo will further become the fetus, right? Yes, very good. So fertilized egg is called the zygote. Very good. Fetus is a stage of the embryo where body parts are identified. Exactly. Blastocyst is again a part. See, when your zygote undergoes cell division, right? We see that it will become, first a 2-cell, 4-celled, 8-celled, 2-celled, and then it goes to 4, 8, it becomes into many clumps of cells, right? One such stage of it is what we call as blastocyst. Yes? Okay. So now, of course, in this case between zygote and fetus, we know how zygote is formed, how fetus is formed, right? Then we know that here it's single cell, here it's multicellular. Now in this case, we know that zygote divides several times to form an embryo. Fetus mainly undergoes a lot of internal development as well. Yes? Fetus is when we can identify the body parts easily. But if they ask you to differentiate between embryo and fetus, in an embryo, will you be able to identify body parts easily? Yes or no? Yes? Will we be able to see body parts very clearly in an embryo? Can you tell me? आपका नाम क्या है? मेरा नाम ऐश्वर्या है. Yes or no? Not exactly, right? Because see, it's not like an embryo is not developed, right? In embryo also, good amount of development is happening, but parts like your limbs and other body parts are not easily identifiable in an embryo. But when that embryo starts to show these signs of development is when it becomes a fetus, okay? So I hope now everybody here is clear with the difference between zygote, embryo and fetus. Are we clear with these three things? Yes, Prince, bacha, hello. Are we clear? I need all of you to be clear with these 3 points because they can ask you to differentiate in the exam. Very good. Let's move on to the next easy peasy question. Yes, very good, Darshan. Very good. What is metamorphosis? Give examples, right? So, very easy question. 2 marks you will get this particular question for. What is metamorphosis? Can you all tell me? I need keywords only in the chat, okay? I only want keywords. Exactly, right? Thank you, Kriti. Thank you so much. So, metamorphosis is a drastic change or a drastic transformation of a larva to an adult, which involves a lot of involving a lot of sudden series of continuous changes. Or I always have simpler definitions at times. So, a drastic transformation. If you have these 2 sentences or these 2 words in your definition, your teacher will give you marks, right? Drastic transformation from larva to adult is what we call as metamorphosis. Can you give me 2 examples? Jaldi, jaldi. Yes? Butterfly, very good. You have an example on screen, which is frog. You can write about silk moth as well, right? So in this case, you can write about any few examples. Ma'am, does zygote grow only into embryo or fetus? Digjoti, I think zygote first becomes a embryo, right? Series of steps are there in between, which I am not telling you. You will learn in your higher grades. But zygote eventually develops into an embryo. Embryo will eventually develop into fetus. Okay, so that is how we will go about it. Ma'am, we should draw diagram. Bacha, if they ask you to draw diagram, draw the diagram. If they have not asked you, don't do it. Okay, because 2 marks mein you don't need to draw diagram. Oh, Dhyani. Okay, sorry. How can you define zygote? Zygote is a single celled structure formed as a result, right? Formed as a result of fusion of male and female gamete. Very simple. I've written the definition on screen. So for those of you who want to write the definition of zygote down, you can write it, right? Yes, Darshan, I missed your Darakshan. Oh, that's a very interesting name, right? I've missed your question. You can send it to me once again. All right, metamorphosis in mosquito? Not really. No, I don't think so. Okay, differentiate between internal and external fertilization, right? Okay, ma'am, when fertilization happens, there is a single cell. That cell is zygote. Yeah, exactly. Fetus and embryo also. I will give it to you once I finish this question. Okay? All right. Differentiate between internal and external fertilization. Simple. In underbody, I think you may have meant inside body, right? Internal fertilization happens within the body, right? And of course, normally seen in terrestrial animals, while external fertilization takes place outside the body, right? And of course, usually takes place in aquatic organisms, right? And you can write down some examples also in both the cases. You will get 3 marks. Friends, I think you are very new, bacha, and you're asking me what's happening in this class or in this channel. So in BYJU'S 6 to 8 channel, we mainly focus on giving you end-to-end videos that help you with your exams, that help you understand your concepts very well. So if you're very new, right now we're doing like a revision set of classes where we are, revising the NCERT questions, because in your final exams in school, normally they give you questions from NCERT. So we are doing that right now. But if you want to learn some chapter or you want to learn something in greater detail, you can check out our one-shot video as well. Okay, I hope I have filled you up. Very good. Ma'am, in internal fertilization, female produces 1 egg or more. Now it depends. Okay, it depends from organism to organism, because in some cases there could be many, but in some cases there could be 1. Now, in our case, if you think about human beings, we know that every month 1 egg is released, right? But this is not the case for all other animals. Now, if you look at various other animals, this whole ovulation cycle and this whole cycle of when an egg gets released keeps differing. So, it differs from animal to animal, right? Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Now, there is Hindi. Ma'am, all are English. There is Hindi. So, I mainly teach in English, right? So these are the main points of differences. You will get 3 marks for this. Now with this, of course, we are done with reproduction in animals. Now we'll move on to the last chapter, which is reaching the age of adolescence, right? Last chapter. Ma'am, can our test tube babies examples of external fertilization? See, that is an artificial method, right? Now, when we say internal and external fertilization, that is with respect to nature. Naturally, that is what is happening, which is why we will consider a natural aspect of it. When we talk about, in vitro fertilization or test tube babies or whatever it may be, those are all artificial methods that we have developed, which we will not consider while writing this, right? Okay. Ma'am, my teacher that in internal fertilization, write down that female lays only 1 egg. How shall I write it? See, Harsimran, there's a smarter way of writing that, okay? Because I'll tell you probably why your teacher would have said that. See, in internal fertilization, now internal fertilization is there in human beings, right? And it's of course seen in birds also, right? Even birds that lay eggs, right? Now, in this case, we see that normally, like I said, because there are multiple aspects to it, when you are writing, smarter way of writing it would be writing it with respect to human beings, right? So if you write it with respect to human beings, your answer is more or less sorted. Then you can do compare contrast with external fertilization. That way you are in a very safe space, right? So I hope this will help you tackle this particular thing that your teacher has also told you. Khan sir, thank you so much, but kindly don't spam, right? Yes, please don't spam. 10 more minutes, we are going to wind up and go to the next chapter, right? Yes, everything we will do today. Define adolescence, okay? IVF is not an example of external fertilization because like I said, internal, external, we're talking about it naturally, right? Let's think about it naturally. Rupali, I am going to answer, right? I will give you the answer in this particular question. Yes, can we scroll down? Okay, thank you so much everyone. Very good, very good. Adolescence is also, no, adolescence is also not called puberty, right? Okay. Yes, adolescence, we should not say adolescence is also called as puberty because we know that there is a difference between adolescence and puberty, right? So what is the difference between the two? Yes, so now we know that there are various phases in human life, right? We have childhood, adulthood, we have adolescence coming in between these two. Yes, very good, Harsimran, very good. I can see even Da Vinci has asked me a question, but Akshara has also given me the answer. Very good, Akshara. Then I can also see some of you who have given me the answer on top. I think Asad has given me the answer. Very good, exactly. So that is my go-to definition that is always there for adolescence, right? So what do we call adolescence as? Adolescence is a phase that comes between childhood and it is a phase that comes between adulthood, right? And here we see that there is a lot of changes which are happening. So I often define adolescence as a transitional phase that exists between childhood and adulthood where the body undergoes various changes in order to attain reproductive maturity. Yes, that is the definition that I always give you for adolescence. Now, how is adolescence different from puberty? Let me tell you. Now, I said adolescence is a period of life or it's a transitional stage that starts between the age of maybe 10 to 13 years, goes about till 19 to 20 years, right? About 19 years, which is why adolescence is also known as the teenage years. Yes? Now, this whole phase that you see right here is what we call as adolescence, right? And throughout this whole phase, we see that body is attaining changes. But the point of life, right? The point at which, yes, we see that the time period where the changes start to happen is what we call as puberty. So if I say this particular individual has attained puberty or hit puberty, this individual has hit the point of life where his body is now going to undergo changes. And this whole lifespan is what you call as adolescence. So are we clear? Will we ever say, ma'am, adolescence and puberty are the same thing, right? Will we say that, Prince Bacha, I gave your answer, I would have missed your question. Don't get angry, please. Whatever is there, you can send it to me once again. Metamorphosis and adolescence. See, metamorphosis is something you observe in organisms like frogs and insects, where they undergo drastic changes, bodily changes, right? So in that case, it is drastic, where something which was living underwater is now living on land. That is extremely drastic. But at the same time, here it is more with respect to reproductive maturity. Yes? Very good. Okay, very good everybody, very good. Now we are all clear, no, with what is what. So when you're writing it, you can say that it is a period between childhood and adulthood, right? And we know that in this period, body undergoes changes and you can write about it. No, our body cannot undergo asexual reproduction, yes? Puberty is the period when our body becomes reproductively mature. Is it correct? Adiva, you can say puberty is the point of life or the time period where our body attains reproductive maturity. You can write that. Yes? Very good. What is menstruation? That is the third question. I will do that next to next. Now make a table depicting 2 columns of endocrine glands and hormones secreted by them. Right? Ma'am, if this question for 1 mark is the definition only, okay. Yes, only definition is enough for 1 mark. Okay, 1 mark. But if it comes to 2 marks, you have to write a little bit more. Right? 1 or 2 points extra you have to write. Function of ovum by releasing egg. I think Prince, you meant what is function of ovary? Because ovum and egg are the same thing, right? So what is the function of ovary? To make or produce, it is the main reproductive organ that produces the female gamete, that is the egg. And why does it release the egg? So that fertilization can take place, right? Very good. So now in this case, I know most of you know the answer to this particular question, right? In this case, we know that we have pituitary gland, which is the master gland that also produces growth hormone. You have the thyroid gland, which produces the hormone thyroxine. Adrenal gland, which produces adrenaline. Pancreas, which produces insulin, right? We have testis in males, which produces testosterone. And then we have ovary, which produces estrogen, right? Okay, so in this case, you have to just make a table like this and normally you will get this for 3 marks, right? Yes. What are vanishing species? I am sure that did you mean vulnerable? IVF see, Dhyani, I think, see, in IVF what happens? It is in vitro fertilization. See the full form, it is in vitro fertilization. That means it's going to happen only by fusion of male and female gamete, right? So at the end of the day, if that fusion takes place, it will be sexual only, right? So that is what you need to understand. Now moving on to the next question, which is what is menstruation? Explain. Yes? Alright, so give me the answer to this particular question while I take Da Vinci's Code, right? This is a 3 mark question which will come for you. Why is adrenal gland considered an emergency hormone? I think gland, I'll not call it an emergency gland, but rather I'll say adrenaline as an emergency hormone. Because most often than not, when you're in an emergency situation, that could be either facing a dog who's going to look like it's going to chase you, or if you're about to go dance on stage and you're feeling the nerves, right? Emergency could be positive and negative. But nonetheless, when you are feeling this, we see that our body prepares itself. And for preparing that, adrenal gland produces adrenaline that helps our body prepare. That's why we call it as, that's what we call it as a emergency hormone. Okay, where are hormones produced? Hormones are produced in glands which are secreted into bloodstream. Yes. Can a mother bear babies at the age of 66? Most often than not, no. Because what happens, and again it depends on multiple things, but most women attain their menopause around the age of 50, 55, because we know that the number of eggs which are produced in the female body are fixed, right? And once the number of eggs are done in the body, or they no longer release, the ovary doesn't release eggs anymore, they attain menopause, right? Stopping of the menstruation. Yes, very good. So how do we define menstruation, right? So simply menstruation can be defined as the shedding of the uterine lining, right? Or you can talk about shedding of the inner lining of the uterus, which mainly consists of blood and mucus, along with the unfertilized egg, right? So when fertilization does not happen, the inner lining of the uterus that is there, or the thickening that is there, will be shed off along with the unfertilized egg, because fertilization has not happened. Very good, very good. So in this case, that is how we go about defining it, right? And we know that normally once ovum development, so once ovum development takes place, we know that ovulation will happen, right? And in the meanwhile, the uterus will become thickened with blood and mucus to receive the fertilized egg. But in this case, we see that if fertilization does not happen, menstruation will take place. Ma'am, in this question, should we mention starting and ending also? Preferably have a structure to it, right? So start with the definition like I always tell you, right? If it's a long answer question, start with definition on how the process of shedding of uterine wall on a regular basis or on a monthly basis is what we call as menstruation. It starts during puberty, and we know that the uterus normally prepares itself to receive the fertilized egg. And as a result, we know that the uterus becomes thick with blood and mucus. But if egg is not fertilized, then it will break down, the uterus inner lining will be broken down, or it will be shed off and released out through the vagina. And this lasts for about 2 to 5 days, and because it's a monthly process, we call it as menstrual cycle. Does AIDS spread? Yes, AIDS can spread. Yes? Okay, AIDS can spread. It spreads through, transmission of needles, through sexual contact, right? So it can be spread. But there are various ways in which it can do that, right? Yes, it's also known as periods also. Okay. Now moving on. Ma'am, egg में क्या है ये? Ma'am, ovum में घुसाया जाता है. What? I am not able to understand that question. Can you be a little more clear? Yes. Okay. Jaswinder, I am not very sure of your question, bacha. That's what I'm not sure of the answer to this. I will, go back and get back to you on this. Okay. Make a list of changes that takes place at puberty. Okay. Very easy question. Okay. Now, when you're writing this, there's an easy way to think about it, right? There's an easy way. One are the physical changes. Then you can write about the mental changes in one line. And then you can write about the sexual changes, okay? Now, this depends on the marks that you get for. If it's 2 marks, you can write it briefly. But normally, you can get this for 4 marks also. Now, in this case, some of you are asking me, ma'am, daily timetable. Ayman, we will put it on the channel. I'll let the team know. It will be there in the community post, right? So when we talk about physical changes, we know there's increase in height, change in shape, change in voice, and increased activity of sebaceous gland. Now here also you can't just basically write it. You will have to specify how is it for girls and boys. Change in shape specific to girls and boys, right? Change in voice specific to girls and boys. So you will have to mention that. Prince, I have answered your question. Kindly stop spamming, otherwise the moderator is going to time you out. Okay? Again. All right. So now, of course, moving on, you will have to mention, right? So we know that the height will of the body will change. We know that there will be growth of hair. In females, we observe development of ovary, right? Not enlargement. Let's use the word development of ovary, right? And we also know that in males, we have development of testes and production of sperms. Now, in males, we know that there's broadening of shoulders, chest become wide, while in females, there is widening of the waist. We know that there's development of acne in both. Now in boys, larynx becomes prominent, and of course we know that the vocal cord becomes bigger and the voice becomes hoarse, while in females it will become shrill. So like I said, whatever changes you write, you will have to write for both males and you will write for both females also. Are we clear? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat quickly? Are we clear with this? Ma'am, should we learn the table also of height? No, don't learn table of height. You should just know that in females, the rate of growth is initially faster, while in males, it is a little slower, right? Okay. Very good, very good. Class 7 Menti, next week, it will be there. Amazing. Moving on to the next one. You need to write short notes, all right? So now I think we have just a few more questions and we will wind up, right? Yes, mission failed. 3 minutes extra ho gaya. Koi nahi. It's okay, at the end of the day, it's all about us learning better, right? That's what we mean by it. I mean, I keep an aim hoping that I finish by then. Now moving on to writing a note about Adam's apple. This can come for 2 marks. If it comes for 2 marks, what will you write? Yes, Srinivasan, please ask me. Okay. Ma'am, is technology developed to develop genes as per... Surprisingly, I like to take this question in the meanwhile that Asta has asked me. Yes, we do have gene technology, right? We have genetic engineering wherein you see that there's manipulation of gene, right? And we see that a lot of, research is being done on identification of genes, modification of genes, so that gene technology can be implemented on a large scale. Let's say stem cell technology as well, wherein we are manipulating the genes of the stem cells so that they can grow. So there's a lot of research, high-end cutting research that is happening where we do have technology that helps us develop, right? Okay, very good everyone, very good. So now in this case, when you talk about Adam's apple, so I just wanted to answer Asta's question because it was a very good question. So we know that Adam's apple is nothing but the protruding part in the neck region that we observe in boys, and this normally happens due to the development of larynx, right? And we know that as it's because of the growth of the larynx, we know that normally in boys we see that the voice is very hoarse, and we know that it's a little deep pitched, right? Yes, very good, very good. So now when you're writing it, you have to start off with saying that in human males, the larynx grows larger or it becomes a protruding part, and this is what we call as an Adam's apple. And we know that this normally due to the influence of hormones, it becomes prominent, right? And we know that the vocal cords becomes thicker and longer and the voice becomes hoarse, right? While in females, we know that Adam's apple is not there. What is a gene? A gene is a part of the genetic material or a segment of the genetic material that codes for a particular character or that codes for a particular protein, right? Okay. Now moving on to the next one, wherein you need to tell me about secondary sexual characters. This is a 2-mark thing that you have to tell me about, right? 2-mark question on secondary sexual characters. What can you tell me here? Yes? Everybody, quickly, what do we understand by the secondary sexual characters? Ashwin, what is meant by puberty? Puberty is the time of life where the body attains, right? So how do we define puberty? Puberty can be defined as the time of life where the body attains reproductive maturity. Yes, Asad, okay, hair in pubic region, all right, very good. Okay, most of you have got the answer, right? So now again, you should not tell in general, okay? You should say in males we observe this, while in females we observe this, right? So in males, what do we see? Development of facial hair, you see development of chest hair, right? Why hair grows in chest? That is because of the influence of the sex hormone, that is testosterone, right? So testosterone is produced in males, and as a result, it results in the growth of hair in face and chest. That's a part of it, right? All normal. See, this particular chapter is also included for all of you, especially at the age that you are in, because you might be observing some changes within your body also. Some of you might be getting facial hair and everything, and which is very normal, right? And we also know that there is formation or growth of hair in the armpit and in the pubic regions. And of course, we see that in the case of females, we see that there is development of breasts or mammary glands, right? And pelvic is basically the pelvic region. That's all. What is pelvic? Nothing. It's just development of the pelvic region. Yes? So in females, we observe that there's development of breasts or mammary glands. Along with that, there is wider hips, which is necessary, right? And of course, there's development of pubic hair and hair in the armpits, right? So when you're writing this, you will have to write it down in such a way that you are defining it for both males and females. And you can also write down what secondary sexual characters are. They are normally the characters that help us identify or that help us distinguish a male body from a female body. Now moving on to the next one. Write notes on sex determination of an unborn of an unborn baby. So what do we understand as sex determination of the unborn baby? So we know that sex determination is a process wherein we see whether is a process, or I would say that it is a phenomenon by which we identify if the given zygote is going to develop into a male or a female, right? So now we know that this depends upon the chromosomes that are present in the sperm. Because we know that gametes have only half the number of chromosomes. And we know that normally in males, so if it is a male, I'll just take a while to explain this, right? So in sexual reproduction, we know that there are male and female which is involved. Now when we look at the number of chromosomes, right? So when you look at number of chromosomes, yes, I'm just going to use up some space so that you can write this, right? So we have male and we have female here. So number of chromosomes in male is 46 and in female also it is 46. But in this case it is actually 44 plus XY, while in females it is 44 plus XX. So this last two, that is XY and XX, right? These are what we call as the sex chromosomes, right? So we call them as the sex chromosomes, or the chromosomes that determine the sex of the individual. Now what happens is that in the gametes, right? So when you look at the gametes, we see that gametes will have only half the number of chromosomes, okay? So they will have only half the number. Now in this case, if there is half the number, we see that there will be two kinds of sperms, okay? So there will be two kinds of sperms. One which will have 22 plus X, one which will have 22 plus Y. But in the case of an egg, right? So if you look at in the case of eggs or ovum, we see that all of them will be the same. All of them will have 22 plus X because it is 22 plus XX, right? Now what will happen? Now we know fertilization is going to take place, right? So when fertilization takes place, we see that sperm and egg will fuse. Now sperm and egg can fuse either in this way, which is case number 1, or they can fuse in case number 2. In case number 1, if they fuse, the zygote will become 44 plus XX, which will be what is this going to be in case number 1? What will it be in case number 1? Very quickly. Case number 1, if a sperm with 22 plus X fuses with egg that has 22 plus X. Very good. This here is going to be a girl, right? But in this case, if a sperm having Y chromosome fuses with egg having X chromosome, we will get 44 plus XY. That is going to be a boy. Yes? So I hope all of you are clear with this. And if any of you want to take a screenshot, quickly go ahead and take a screenshot of this, right? So this is very clearly I have written sex determination. So I hope that you take a screenshot and let me know that, you can use this, especially when you have questions, right? Subjective questions that they ask you. This flowchart will definitely help you understand, right? Okay. Shelly Bharadwaj, I will give you. Ma'am, which chromosome is there for cross gender? See, transgenders, most often than not, right, are either born male or female. But they later identify themselves maybe in the other gender, right? So if there's an individual born as a man, may identify themselves as a woman, right? Now in this case, what do they do? If you look at cell-wise, it will either be XX or XY only, right? But the way they identify themselves would be different. So that's something that you need to understand, right? Okay, I'm getting some comments. Ma'am, why the curvy structure of stomach in females as mentioned in the last answer? Curvy structures. Oh, that is actually a very, it's a silly, curvy in the sense normally the body shape comes that way, right? See, it's not like every body shape is going to be different. Let me be very open about that, right? Body shape of every individual. I'll not say specific to male or female also. Body shapes of individuals are going to be different, right? But most often than not, one characteristic thing that you observe in females is the wider pelvis, right? It's said to be that the pelvis would be wider when compared to males because of the fact that they have to accommodate the growing young one, okay? Cancer, that is irrelevant. You don't need to know. Okay. Now let's move on, ma'am. How are twin babies born? Twin babies are born in two ways. One is if the zygote that is there split or during zygote formation, either we see that it's formed in such a way that in some clauses maybe some 2 eggs were released instead of 1, then 2 sperms fused, then you see that one set of way in which twins are formed. Other one is during zygote division, when the zygote is dividing. What happens is the zygote, one single cell zygote should form a 2-cell structure. But if the 2-cell structure splits into 2, it will become 2 zygotes, right? And that in turn will develop individually, resulting in the formation of twins. Ranjit, can we have a look at the chat, please? Yes. Okay. How do male gamete fuse with female gamete? Alright. See, male gametes that is there will fuse in the sense this nucleus part will fuse with the nucleus here. That is how they will fuse. Alright. Alright. So now let's move on. I've already explained, actually I explained this part of the question. So let's quickly move on here. When you're writing the answer for this particular question, you need to make sure that you write about how the sex of the baby is determined by the male gamete, right? And we know that then you'll have to write about how, depending upon the sex of the baby, right? The chromosome number of the sperm and what kind of sex chromosome is there, we will get a boy or a girl. Yes? All right. Okay. We will get this PDF today only. Don't worry about it, right? Yes. So with this, of course, everyone, we are done with today's class. I have finished all the chapters, right? Now, of course, Ankita ma'am has already finished conservation in plants and animals. And with that, of course, we come to the end of today's class. So now, I hope all of you are clear with all of your doubts. Are you feeling confident? I hope all of you have hit the like button also. I hope all of you have made sure you've hit the like button and the subscribe button. Because see, we know that some of your exams are over. We know that some of your exams are going to happen. It's very difficult to balance it all out, but nonetheless, I hope now all your biology portion is clear. Now, I do have a few questions that I want to take, right? Ma'am, my bio is done. Okay, bio is done. Bio is simple only, right? Yes. What are allosomes? Allosomes, autosomes and allosomes. Allosomes are nothing but another name for your sex chromosomes, right? So that is just another name for it. There was one more question which I saw, which I want to take, which was of Shelley, right? Ma'am, what initiates the changes due to hormones? To be specific, why do changes occur during puberty? Why not during childhood or adulthood? Amazing question. See, now let me tell you one thing. Now we know that these hormones that are there, right, at the end of the day are controlled by the pituitary gland, right? So they are all controlled by the pituitary gland that is there. Now the thing is, when we are born as a child or as an infant, right? When we are born as an infant, our body is developing. So throughout childhood, if you see, our brain is also quite a bit, it's still developing, our body parts are developing and we are growing. Yes. But at the same time, what happens is once our body has reached a certain level of growth, right? We know that now our body should become capable of reproduction. Which is why later what happens is that there are various chemical reactions that take place that trigger the different glands to start producing, or it starts, you know, we have the hypothalamus, we have so many different parts which will now start triggering these changes. So first your pituitary gland will start sending information to different parts, right? Okay, now it's time for the next phase of life. And that is when your brain will still undergo development. Which is why if you see the kind of development your brain undergoes when you are a child versus what happens when you are an adult, I mean in your adolescence phase, is quite different. Because when you're a child, things like decision making, understanding, being a little independent, those kind of things are not there. But as your brain is undergoing a new set of development, especially during this time that you are in, trust me, you become a little more dependent, you are becoming more aware, more conscious, right? So those are changes that are happening within your body. And once you're 25, and that's why they always tell you, no, this is the best age to learn things. Why is it that you are learning now and not when you're an adult? Because your brain is growing and has the capability to do this, right? So that is something that you need to know. Ma'am, why do endocrine glands only produce hormones? Endocrine glands are the only glands which have the ability to pour it into the bloodstream, which is why they produce hormones, right? Most often than not. Any tips that you want to give me, because tomorrow is my exam? Shashwat, first of all, make sure you sleep on time, right? Don't stay up late. Make sure that you revise one thing once in the morning. Believe in yourself that you know everything and you've studied everything, and trust me, it will be good, right? Why does our height stop after we are 18? Or we stop growing after we are 18 years of age? Because we would have attained our maximum height, right? So once we attain maximum height, we stop growing, okay? Yes. Are we clear, everybody? Are we clear? What is force? Bacha, force is any push or pull. Yes. Metamorphosis that is there is basically a drastic change, right? Drastic change from larva to adulthood is what we call as that. And exocrine glands that are there, right? Exocrine glands are necessary because they produce other things, other chemicals that are needed. So that is what we mean by exocrine glands. For example, saliva is needed for digestion and everything. No, that is what we mean by it, right? And how to prepare food during preparatory leaves. See, during preparatory leaves, make sure that you incorporate a lot of revision, active recall. Make sure that you do a lot of practice during that time. Because if you are somebody who's already finished studying and you know your concepts, then you only need to keep practicing, which also includes for subjective questions, write a lot, practice your writing as well. That will definitely help you, right? So with this, of course, everybody, I will say goodbye to all of you. I hope all of you enjoyed today's class. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this video with all of your friends, right? And do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because we always have some amazing things coming for you, right? So let me know more in the comments below. If you like this class, let me know in the comments of this video. If you want more such classes, also tell me in the comments below. Yes, Ganesh. With this, of course, everybody, everybody, I will be signing off. Today's 6th class mentee had to get postponed due to some unavoidable reasons, but we will be having it next week, okay? It will not be cancelled, it's just rescheduled. So with this, everybody, I'll be signing off and I will see you all soon. Till then, bye-bye and lots of love to all of you.